What's the laziest, easiest way you've lost weight? Passively rode a recumbent exercise bike while I played video games. I played a few hours a day and I honestly didn't even notice I was riding. Looked down at the end of the night to see I've rode 20+ miles. One day I played games all day and it said I rode over 100 miles and burned like 6,000 calories. Before I wore that thing out, I think I lost like 40 pounds over one summer. Edit. Sorry I couldn't reply to everyone. Didn't know this would be such a conversation starter. So I don't remember the brand or model of what I was using. Although I know it was very heavy and very sturdy and had a tiny little screen so it didn't block the TV. This was 15 years ago or more. But it was orange and black and wanna say the brand was maybe Marcy? The seat wasn't comfy. But because it was reclined and had a backrest, it gave me the support I needed. Really the main goal here is to make it as comfy as you can so you forget you're exercising. I also am skeptical of the 6,000 calories thing. I imagine those machines are insanely inaccurate and I didn't read too much into it at the time. It was more the mileage I was concerned with really. My opinion. The best games to play are those big RPGs like Oblivion, Skyrim, Dragon's Dogma, Dragon Age, etc. Really any game that has lots of traversal of the map or even relaxing games like The Sims or Stardew Valley. Racing games are good too. But shooters are tough because you tend to stop pedaling when you need to focus. I played on PS3 at the time. But nowadays really anything where you have a wireless controller would work. To anyone thinking about doing something like this, my advice is to simply stick with it. It definitely takes some work at first getting used to doing two things at once. But once you find the right resistance, the right seat length and the right game to play, you won't even notice you're pedaling. Keep sticking with it and trying new things until you get the right combo and you'll be golden. Good luck. Stopped drinking sodas. Sometimes I'm too lazy to make dinner and just have sleep instead. Got Invisalign. I stopped snacking throughout the day because I was too lazy to take the retainers out. Salmonella. I lost 5 kilograms in 7 days. Intermittent poverty is good and experiencing a major depressive episode are my go-to for what it's worth. Rave scene. Ecstasy and LSD don't really mix with food. Unsubscribing my DoorDash membership. Walk whenever possible. Hard drugs and severe depression really did the trick for me. By not eating. Stopped drinking soda. Only been about 5 to 6 months. But none of my pants stay on anymore without a belt. I was a fatty in middle school. Had a lazy summer after 8th grade playing video games. Guess I forgot to eat. Came back for 9th grade and everyone was like, how'd you get so skinny? Honestly thought I was still fat. Didn't even realize I lost all that weight lol. Cancer. Chemotherapy then a heart attack. Lost 90 pounds. I do not recommend it. My wife died on Easter Sunday. We were together over 20 years. I have lost 70 pounds in the 2 months since. Last week alone I lost 13. I probably also lost a fair amount prior while sleeping in the ICU as we failed at each step to make it to chemo. My doctor says my weight loss is okay, as a temporary thing. But wants me to try to stay above 500 calories a day and not pass out. Mostly I live on the cream in my morning coffee. I do not recommend this method. Also, as she had a heck of a dark sense of humor, I'll point out that she lost even more weight than I have via cremation. Although it was mostly water weight. Super easy on her part, she even got a nice ride there and back. Go out to buy groceries on a full stomach. Your cravings to buy unhealthy random foods should go down a bit. Don't keep anything easy to prepare or particularly tasty in the house. If you're not hungry enough to spend 20 minutes cooking up some bland rice, you're not really hungry. Even shit like that will taste like manna from heaven when you're truly hungry. My wife died. Sadness and depression made me lose my appetite. Wouldn't have mattered anyway because the best cook I've ever known was gone. Psyllium husk. This shit is magic and really feels like cheating. Basically it is pure fiber, equals 0 calories, and has the interesting property of expanding when getting in contact with water. It will expand inside your stomach, giving you the nice feeling of being full. Hunger is gone. On top of that, it gives you perfect poops and can also help with other digestive issues. All while being completely natural and having a very neutral taste. Only important thing is to consume it with lots of water, otherwise it can cause constipation itself. Edit. 'Cause many people are asking. I used raw psyllium husk, which looks like this. I don't have experience with the powder or the pills. I mixed 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk with water and downed it immediately, and also drank a lot of water afterwards. That worked fine for me to reduce my caloric intake significantly, in combination with a proper diet. 1 tablespoon is already a lot. Start with less. Don't take too much of that stuff or it will suck up all the water in your bowels and cause constipation. Stopped drinking beer last summer. Lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks. Started drinking again in the fall. Gained it all back. Go through a breakup. Find an active hobby you don't hate. I started rock climbing. It burns a ton of calories and I can stay for hours. I go twice a week now. It may sound crazy, but I go for walks. That sounds like a bigger hassle than it actually is. Especially if you are blessed with a forest or at least a decent park near your house. In my case, I smoke a fat doink, OBV not required. But it helped me with motivation, and I would have smoked either way, and go for a walk through the forest. For mental health at first. From that point on I sorta made it habit. Walking long distances got easier and easier. Since I don't want to go to the forest every day, I started going for less smoky and less naturey walks. I use a step counter to a. Get a hold of how much I'm doing and b. Gamify the journey. It's just so much more fun to see yourself hitting your step goals day by day. And since you're gonna make some progress, you will realize that your old goals don't even challenge you anymore and you set higher goals, additional motivation. Apart from that, I tried eating less. No calorie counting or anything. I never planned cheat days. I just ate more when I felt like it because I always knew I was on the right path anyway. The results speak for themselves. Within the last couple months I dropped like 25 to 30 kilograms. About 50 to 60 pounds. In that whole time I never forced myself to eat things I didn't want to eat. Didn't stay hungry when I would have liked to eat. Didn't work out when I didn't want to. Overall, I think the most important part is to enjoy the journey. Not only the results. You should find a sport, activity that is a hobby. Not a chore. Listen to your body when it comes to food. Am I hungry or am I bored? Am I not eating because I want to lose weight or because I'm genuinely not that hungry? Hope this helps at least someone a little bit. This isn't quite as lazy as others and slightly more positive, but once I decided it was okay for me to smoke weed and watch TV while I worked out, it suddenly became much easier to convince myself to work out. I had a migraine that lasted 5 days. Just drinking water made me nauseous. So eating was a no-go. After 5 days of not eating and barely drinking, I had dropped 10 pounds. I'm sure most of it was due to dehydration. But the fact remains that I dropped weight. As a bonus, I'd been wanting to quit smoking. And the migraine was so bad that I couldn't even think about having a cigarette. Once the pain was gone, I realized that I hadn't smoked in 5 days and I should be past the worst of the cravings. So I decided to see how long I could stay quit. It's been well over 19 years. And I never did restart that habit. Just walk. Started riding the elevator up to class in college and walking down the stairs to my next class. Wasn't long before I found walking to class easier and started walking upstairs too. Total game changer. No intense cardio. Or crazy pills or radical surgery. Just 2 legs and places to be. Oh. And cutting back on processed foods too. So much better tasting and weirdly cheaper. Depression and anorexia. Would never recommend though. VR games. I bought my kids Quest headsets for Christmas and accidentally lost 10 pounds playing when the kids were asleep. Got myself one and lost another 30 pounds playing Beat Saber. Salmonella poisoning. Not intentional of course. But I lost 20 pounds in 6 days. I had a 2-night hospital stay and I begged for death. Even when I was released. I couldn't stomach the idea of food. And for an extra week all I could eat was plain toast. White rice. And water. 0/10 do not recommend. Stop drinking sweet tea. Intermittent fasting. Increasing hydration. Running around a lot at work to double up exercise with work time. Also got a couple promotions because of this. Laziest physically was eating less and cutting out junk. Mentally it was torture, which made me realize this shit is basically drugs. Too lazy to make lunch. Too lazy to buy food. So I just waited until I got home from work to eat. Drinking more water. Depression. Oats. Bananas. Beans and rice. Rinse and repeat. I stopped eating before bed. Moderate eating disorder. I was broke. Lived on 2 hot dogs a day for something like 3 months. Dropped from 200 pounds. Down to 170 pounds. Before that I had dropped from 220 to 200 by eating a single paleo meal a day. Also cause I was broke and couldn't afford more than 1 meal a day. Then I went broke and could only afford the hot dogs. I'm back on my feet financially. But going so long with so little food has kind of reset my hunger, and so now I'm not even hungry enough to eat enough to put any weight back on. Which is now an issue because I'm trying to build muscle at the gym now. Eat less to begin with. A. It's cheaper, don't have to work so hard, long for money. B. You don't have to shop as much. C. You don't have to lift your fork as much. D. You don't have to wash so many dishes. Eliminating alcohol. Getting divorced makes it an easy side effect. A leg amputation. Lost a whole lot of weight instantly. That top comment about cutting out soda is spot on. Also, I was 215 at one point and I'm not a tall dude. I looked fat. There was a period of time at my job where they were laying off people in my department and I was waiting for my number to be called. I have a wife and kids. For the better part of 3 months. I was constantly worried to the point where I couldn't sleep and I had to force myself to eat. I finally landed on my feet in the same company, but for about 3 months I had to force myself to eat every day and I was just basically soup or a couple bites of food here and there. At the end of the 3 months I was 183. Everyone said I looked great and asked me what my secret was. And my secret was basically worrying myself into starvation. So just stop eating and only eat soup or a couple of bites of food every day for 3 months. I had so much anxiety in my daily life that my appetite disappeared. I still ate but very sparingly as I couldn't get anything down. It wasn't my intention at all to lose weight. Tapeworm. Stopped all carbs and lived on vegetables, fruits and meat. Lost 50 pounds in 6 months. How has nobody said Wegovy, Ozempic? This shit just works. Hunger is gone. I just eat less. It's a miracle drug as long as it doesn't give you side effects. A lot of people get nauseous. But I don't. As long as there are no horrible long-term effects. This class of drug is going to end obesity. Intermittent fasting. No food for 16 hours in a day. But drinking is allowed through the whole day. Not much sugary drinks but like water and coffee, tea. Depression did it for me. When I'm really miserable, I stop having much of an appetite. I was in the day clinic for 4 weeks many years back and lost 4 kilograms during that time without even trying a little bit, and despite regular meals in the day clinic. I just ate teeny tiny portions because I was lacking the appetite. Didn't harm me. I am and have always been a bit chubby lol. Cancer. Being poor. D. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.